Teledentistry, what is it? Go to teledentistry.operadds.com to find out how you can completely change how we bring in new patients, giving them the ability to send photos and video before you ever talk to them. Go to teledentistry.operadds.com. Welcome back to part 2 of an amazing 2-part series that we did in the Operatory podcast. Talking to Elijah Desmond. Part 1, we went over Elijah's amazing career in dentistry. And in this part 2 of the podcast, we go into how he motivates teens, which is a very huge passion of his. Enjoy.
Bryan, do you mind if we sidetrack a little bit and talk about kind of like the bigger picture and the why behind Smiles at Sea and some of the things that we're doing on the ship?
100%. Please do.
Okay. So some of the really cool things that we're doing is there's always a bigger picture and a bigger purpose. So number one, we're going to fill cruise ships, and we're on track to do that by 2023. But there's a lot of things that you can do with the power of community and the power of people. So there's a lot of dental professionals that are into giving, including myself. And so what we're doing is that before we get onto the ship or when we get to the destination, what we have been doing is we've been doing good. We've been doing missions. So basically, before we got on our last April cruise, we went in Miami and we went and treated patients. We did a mission. So we seen over 500 patients that were uninsured, that were homeless, that needed dental care. And so we set up a clinic in a big church auditorium and treated these patients. And it's an opportunity to give back and to serve others. And when you have all those dental professionals in one place and the ability to give back, there's no better feeling. And you have these companies that come together like Burst. Burst donated over $30,000 of electric toothbrushes to patients and different companies giving toothpaste. And it's there's no better feeling. And this one that we went on this last week or a week and a half ago, Hygienists for Humanity, we went and partnered with them and went and teamed up with Feeding South Florida. And I believe we prepared 20,000 meals for the homeless, right? And to be a part of that, something bigger than yourself is huge. The disaster struck in the Bahamas. And we wanted to do something for all those people that lost everything. And people are in shelters that lost everything but their families. And some people even lost their families and loved ones. Well, we partnered with Delivering Wow, and we went and gave toothbrushes and toothpaste, boxes and boxes when we got to the port of the Bahamas so people can take care of their oral care. Each year we give pins away on the ship. The pins are like $5. We don't give them away. The pins are $5 each. And we basically support a cause with the profits from the pins. And this year we did Samantha Grace, who actually is a hygienist that's in the Bahamas that lost everything. And so we're helping her to get on her feet. And so behind all these big ships, there's always bigger purposes. And so there's fun, there's education, but there's purposes behind them. And I think it's extremely important to know that we're not just a big organization or a big conference. There's whys behind them. And if I could take it a step further than that, I myself, I think it's important to know my personal why outside of Smiles at Sea. There was a point where I was about to get outside of dentistry because my why is kids. My why is changing these kids' lives. And I probably should have started off this whole episode with that. I got excited when you asked me about Smiles at Sea. I almost stopped speaking in dentistry because when I speak to these high schools, I get the best feeling ever, even better than I feel whenever I get off of the stage in dentistry. There's no better feeling than knowing you went and talked to an entire high school and you get these kids that come up to you and they give you these hugs and you get the teardrops in your shoulder and the kids don't want to stop hugging because you know that you hit a spot in their heart and they just don't want to stop hugging you. That's the feeling that I'm around for. That's why I'm in existence. And so what I decided to do is take it to another step and start creating motivational concerts. And so what motivational concerts are bringing counties of schools together. So 10 to 20 counties of high schools. And so what I'm doing is I'm basically traveling the world doing motivational concerts with other motivational speakers. And basically, we kick off the event. We're in a high school football stadium. We have 10 to 20 high schools with their parents. We kick off the event with music. That's why I'm going to training to be a DJ. We kick off the event with music. I walk on with my walk-on song. I get onto the stage. I do a mix. I do a quick 10-minute set. I introduce the first motivational speaker. They speak for 20 to 40 minutes. I introduce the second motivational speaker. They do the same thing. And then I share my message, because it's not just about me. It's about the messages that other people have to share as well. And so we're taking that and we're going on the road with it with multiple motivational speakers. What's my point? I'm so obsessed with that why and that journey that I was about to step out of speaking in the dental space. However, I have a place and a message for dentistry as well. And so what I've decided to do is whenever I go out and speak in the dental world, typically I will not sign a contract to speak somewhere unless they include in the contract me speaking at a local high school. Okay. And so since I have the traction I do in the industry, in dentistry, it makes it so it's easy for me to get into high schools. And here's a really cool thing. The high schools aren't even paying me. The concerts they are, but I don't take the money. I use it for scholarships for dentistry, high school kids that want to get into dentistry or they want to get into business, or we do a new car fund for them. So where they get a new car if they get tested into college early, like I did. But the point is that I decided to not leave dentistry because this is where I come from. However, if I'm speaking in dentistry, part of the contract is they talk to their local high school and they have me come to speak to their local high school while I'm speaking during that day or the day before for free. So that's my give whenever I come and speak.
That's amazing, man. So, I mean, thank you for all you're doing for dentistry and for kids. I mean, just mind blowing. I have to ask though, because I don't speak to high school students, and sometimes, and I do speak at dental conferences and to dentists, and sometimes it feels like I am speaking to high school students. A little bit of a joke, but what's the correlation? Like, what's the differences between the two? Like when you're speaking to dental audiences, and then you go and you speak to, is there a difference?
There's a huge difference. It's a monster difference. So when I speak in high schools, when I speak in high schools, I am speaking about being your authentic self. The number one risk in life is being yourself. But once you can become yourself, you really set yourself free. I speak about identity. And for me, am I black or am I white? Right? Am I rich or am I poor? This is the stuff I went through whenever I was coming up as a kid. I speak on that. I have an athletic story as well. So I speak on bullying as well.
Are the audiences different? I mean, when you're speaking to, I would think so. Yes. And like, if so, how?
Yeah. So well, here's the thing though. I have a lot of different speeches. I speak to inner city schools. I speak to athletes. I speak to, Catholic schools that have a lot of money. I speak to a lot of different audiences in the schools. And here's how it's different. When I get off stage, my impact is insane to where I have hugs that don't stop. People are bawling, crying on my shoulder because I had a massive impact. I might have saved a kid's life when I get off the stage. Some kid might have been going home to commit suicide, and I stopped it because I was at a rock bottom point in my life, and I'm vulnerable. I share that. I wasn't about to commit suicide, but I share about depression when I'm speaking to these kids, and so I hit a nerve in these kids. So I'm saving a life, and I'm changing somebody's entire life when I go and speak to the kids. And I've done this in the same day that I've spoke to a dental event. Then I will go to a dental event and I might speak for 2,000 people, keynote at a big dental conference. Okay. And it will be my mic dropping performance, best one ever. And in dentistry, I'm speaking on emotional intelligence. Okay. Team culture, making people happy, happiness in the dental office, happiness with the patients, but more than anything, emotions. When I go and speak to the dental office, we'll have people, it'll be like a roller coaster. We'll make them laugh. We'll make them cry. We'll make them appreciate one another. And when I get done, I'll get high fives. Oh my God, that was the best talk I ever had. That was amazing. You really resonate with my team. It's a hoorah. that was amazing. I'll be able to use this in my practice. That it's a feel good. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now the feel good and the I just saved somebody's life are two entirely different feelings. It is night and day. I can go and drop the mic all day and feel good and get a high five and make the meeting planner look good. That's great. I mean, it's a good feeling. But when I know I saved somebody's life, Bryan, that is an addiction that I have. I have an addiction of changing somebody's entire life at a high school age, 14, 15, 16 years old. And I know that I could get somebody to not kill themselves, or I can get somebody to go to dental school, or I can get somebody to be an entrepreneur and be a business person instead of working at the gas station their entire life. That is what I'm put on this earth for, right? It's totally different. But I got to where I've got to because of dentistry, and I'm not leaving.
Well, man, thank you for all you do. I think, you're doing amazing things, and not only just amazing things, you're doing you're carving out your own path, which is something that I very highly respect, and doing it in your own authentic way, which is you practice what you preach, man. So I appreciate it, and thank you very much for being on the Operatory podcast.
Thank you.
I also want to remind you to rate and review us wherever you're listening to this podcast. If you have suggestions or comments, please visit theoperatory.com and drop us a line. Again, I'm Dr. Bryan Laskin, host of The Operatory. Thanks for listening. I look forward to speaking with you next week.